All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Stock market opens in about an hour or a minute. Big difference there. Market opens in about a minute. Let's check out some IBD stuff. Nick, what's up, buddy? Futures flat ahead of the Fed. Blue chip stock rebounds. Tencent Music tumbles as revenue falls short. What else we got? IBD stock today builds new base soon after gap up breakout. What else? Can stocks break 60 bucks? Under the radar IPO soars on 1,800% growth. That's a lot of growth. Disney's acquisition of 20th Century Fox stirs some early action. Some early gapping action. Wait a minute, Disney? Holy crap, that's loud. Disney's buying Fox? That's crazy. Wow. Fox doesn't like that. Google took mild losses after being slapped with a $1.6 billion fine. Smartsheet? I've not heard of Smartsheet. Sage moving up on a drug approval. Looks like we're all over the place today. Some green, some red. 1 point indices. Is it still called indices? Okay, missing something here. There we go, global watch list. Okay. 1.86% is the biggest up today. That's different. Haven't had that in a while. Yesterday kind of ended a bit of a not as good as it was a majority of the day. You can see the selling involved right there. So maybe another day to pick up stuff on sale. Nvidia though up 1.2%. ESNT moving up a little bit here. Match.com getting on with that program. SIVB. Big down day yesterday. What else? Skyworks. Iron Match, Skyworks, SIVB, NBEV, C-Trip. AMRN continuing through that trend line, did not bounce off of it at all. Chesapeake also rolling over. I did take profits yesterday in Chesapeake, so that's fine. AMRN. IQ, CGC. CGC really getting to the end of this triangle here. Hack O'Reilly. O'Reilly was interesting yesterday. Looks like it reversed. The whole market kind of reversed a little bit. Skyworks doing okay there. ESNT breakout fine. Match is doing okay. Looks like it's trying to get back into a breakout territory. So look at this one, pretty much large cup with a failed breakout / high handle. Whatever you want to call that. Looks like it's going to go make a second run at it. Acacia, Boot. Waiting for Boot to come back too. When is the Fed today? When is the Fed today? Is it Fed minutes? Trying to see when we can expect something, because after that Fed minutes comes out, the market will probably react. 3:20. I'm on their calendar. Let me see. 2 p.m. FOMC meeting, 2-day meeting, March 19th, 20th. 4:15 p.m. selected interest rates. No idea what that means. I guess that's their press conference. 4:15. I think doesn't the market close at 4? Or does it close at 5 on the East Coast? These are all Eastern times. I'm actually not sure. I'm going to have to Google that. 9:30 and 4. Yeah, I thought so. Okay. So it's after market where it's gonna do something. That's weird. Well, maybe at some point during the day there'll be one or two sentences that end up what everyone's going to grasp onto. STNE 2% after the big move yesterday. It looks like it did close lower. And we'll see how this consolidates. So on a gap roll, you have basically two breakout points. You could try to buy on the gap break up. Or if we undercut the gap, we can buy on the, come on, give me 0, whatever. You can buy, if it undercuts, you can buy as it comes back through. I prefer the latter to the former. Buying as it crosses the high can be a little difficult. Sometimes it'll spike up and come right back down. So I prefer to buy a little bit lower, but we'll see how that one rolls out. Acacia coming back here. Okay. Curling out, trying to get in there towards highs. There's another IBD article that was interesting here. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Under the radar stock IPO soaring a ton. QTNA, this is under the radar. I have not heard of it. One source to check each week is the IBD Breakout Stocks Index, currently featuring several newer stocks, including Quintana Communications. Along with Quintana Communications, ZS, huge breakout. TTD, Coop, Plan, and Team. Each of these stocks have also earned a spot on the IPO Leaders screen. There's an IPO Leaders screen. Look at that. Let's take a look. All right, there's a few more of them too. Let's go check them all out. EPRT. Yeah, I would call that an IPO leader. IIPR. Wow. TME is Tencent Music Group. These are the ones that gap down 10%. That's why earnings are a gamble. It's great when they go up 20%. Horrible when they gap down 10%. Coop. We already looked at Coop. INVH. Pump. This one's interesting. Trying to break some all-time highs here, basically. See when it's going to do that. Let's see if it'll come back. INVH composite rating is 89. EPS changes 167. Sales changes 31. So pretty good. Really good. WHD, we've seen this one around. Still failing to get back into those highs, stalling at that 3750 level. It's seen resistance there time and time again. FHL, oh, that's a brand new one. This one's like a week old. Hey, good morning, Eli. HCC, we know about this one too. I haven't looked at this one in a little bit. Let's take a look at it. Looks like it's tightening up towards the top of this range, which is kind of a new behavior. Kind of waiting for Warrior Cole to do something. You're in DC. That's cool. While you're in DC, Eli, see if you can get some insider trading tips from some senators. They've got good stuff. All right, FTNT. I'm liking this thing. It's looking good. Looking like it may have a beautiful run out of this. What do you have going up to 108? Yesterday was pretty good. We noted it was kind of flattening out, crossing this trend line here. It flattened out, now starting to curl up. So that trend line break looks like that worked out okay so far. That's a pretty hairy down day. But I think that was that Friday or Thursday? That was triple witching Friday. Both of these days elevated volume, so this is a nice move up here for FTNT. Looks like gapped up a little bit on the overnight session to 88. Pulling back some. And I believe FTNT has pretty good fundamentals. 99 composite rating, 93 relative strength rating. First in its industry group. So, yeah, definitely good stock. Oh, it says number 2 now next to CYBR. $84 EPS change last quarter. Lots of green. It has a red with 13% EPS change for the current year, and another red for 20% 3 years EPS growth rate. So I have a feeling that's the only 2 red on this entire thing. 8 quarters of increasing fund ownership, 22% change in funds owning stock. Super good. Fortnite has formed a cup with handle base. That's beautiful. Software is generally in the top performing sector right now. Number 8 out of the 197 industry groups, Fortnite. So this one's checking all the boxes. This is a very nice large base. This is a very classical base right here. Cup with handle, 31.5% deep. 32% deep base meets the 33% criteria. Beautifully formed. I think we've done is this the one we did the day count on? Keep coming back to this one. Probably something to that if we keep coming back to it. So we got 20% up at 108. And basing just below 100, so there's a decent possibility this thing can keep going. Yeah, this one's nice. FTNT. I may make a play on this one. Yeah, it's starting to get frisky. Look at these. Look at these beautiful candles right here. It's gorgeous. 1 week handle. It happens. It happens. So your buy point technically is up here at, it takes the high, 88.54, 88.80, yeah, 88.54. That's the low, 88.60. So 88.70 is technically your buy point for FTNT. And I say you have to buy it. I mean, pretty much. Hold on a second. Their IBD rating? Did you not listen, Eli? 99. Let me pull it up for you, buddy. I just went over all their numbers, damn it. Fortnite. I just call them Fortnite, even though it's called Fortnite. Called Fortnite. Now this thing has just tons and tons of goodness on it. So here's their list. Composite rating of 99. You've got industry group rank of 10. A plus group ranking. 84 EPS change last quarter. 70% last 3 quarters EPS change. 2 quarters of acceleration. 18% EPS change current quarter. Everything's up. Like I said, the only 2 things that were red were EPS change for current quarter, which is only 13% higher than the previous one after it's growing 84%. And EPS estimated change for the current year is only 13% after growing 52%. So sales are good, 22. Has 3-year sales growth rate of only 20%. 18.2% pre-tax margin. ROE is 40%. No debt. And this right here is, I really like this. This needs to be better, although they have it as a green, which is odd. I always find that odd. I don't know why they have that there. Up-down volume is good, though, at 1.4. So far it clicks all the criteria. You can take a look at CYBR. It's a companion up here. 99 composite rating. Well, that's stupid. Why do they link to a different screen? 117% EPS change. Looks like a newer growing company because their stuff is all in the annual earnings section. So, yeah, for tonight, looking really, really good. Take-Two Interactive, we noted yesterday, trying to go back and eclipse the prior high. Looks like we're doing that right now. And Take-Two Interactive, let's look up TTWO. Only a 25 composite rating out of 100, or 99, and a 14 relative strength rating. So 28% pre-tax margin, 160% sales change last quarter, negative 50% EPS change last quarter. Last 3 quarters average EPS growth, negative 26%. So, Chesapeake coming back. Match. Acacia Communications chilling up here. O'Reilly Auto Parts also trying to get along with the program. I think the other day, didn't I? I did end up writing O'Reilly down. O'Reilly looking, it's a nice little break of a trend line right there from yesterday. I need to redo my sheets. I've got like 30 sheets and I don't like them. Need to redo them. All right, NVIDIA backing off. It was up today. Looks like it. Oh, that's ESNT. That's also backing off. Damn it. What's going on? There we go. NVIDIA backing off. Started up higher, And it looks like we have some selling here. Some pretty large candles there. Market's flat. Maybe hard to take positions right now. Let's start at the top here. You know, it's a bad day when Riot is leading your chart there. Lumber Liquidators coming back after earnings debacle. Maybe. Look at that. Actually closed higher. We kind of forgot about it after it drifted down there through the 50-day. Yeah, may end up coming back. Let's see if it made a new low. It did make a new low. Could be a shakeout of sorts. It's hard to say exactly, but Carvana still stuck in its frozen rope. Is that my trend line or their trend line? Looks like it's my trend line. Carvana does not have down days, apparently. Amazon having a good day. Carvana's having a good freaking month. Yep, looking pretty good. Look at the pocket pivots on the right side here on Amazon. Pocket pivot. So pocket pivot, pocket pivot, pocket pivot, pocket pivot, pocket pivot. Excellent price action on Amazon. Very good price action. See the volume kind of decrease as we go into this flatter base and we start to try to curl up. Have a little bit of shakeout with the rest of the market a week or two ago. And now we're right back at it into highs. So yeah, Amazon's looking pretty good. Pocket pivots for you. Pocket pivots for everybody. You get a pocket pivot. You get a pocket pivot. Yeah, it looks good. Eclipsing that high right there, kind of eliminating all of this. I wonder if that's can actually be considered a base. Yeah, it looks like it can be considered a base. Not really a 20% run up. Let's see. Definitely undercut prior basing here. So I would say it reset the base count. And this probably would be considered a first stage base in Amazon, actually. All right, I think that may actually qualify. Only down 10%. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And actually, this would be a breakout week. So this is potentially breakout volume. You're looking for 40% above average. That would not be a breakout day. This would be a breakout day 2 days ago. That did not have breakout volume. This was on the cusp. Like I said, you're looking at 40%. That's about 50% over average volume. So maybe you can consider that a breakout. But yeah, Amazon looking pretty good. Let's see what Amazon's doing here. Excuse me. Come on. Dang, they got options going out far. Amazon. Okay, what would our target be? What's a 20%? Well, we're going to hit all-time highs before we hit that. So let's just do 2,000. Man, they're so tight with their... Wow. Wow. Go out to June, if they can get up there by June, which would be June, what? 21st. So you're looking at right there, basically. Yeah, June 10th. It's about 100% gain on some Junes. And that's even from here. That's if that, as long as that trend line holds. Don't know if it will, but it's always interesting. Skyworks pulling back in. IQ pulling way in. Pretty big gap down this morning there. Skyworks, right? WFT, Acacia. MJ looked like it was kind of going lower here. Look at yesterday. Lots of volume, lots of chop, unfortunately. That's a... And, of course, one of these I can't actually zoom in with. You see all this up and down. That's quite a bit of distribution. So selling off a little bit as it's getting towards highs. We'll see if that will reverse or not. Oh, CGC up 1.86%. Oh, look at that. Just started rallying. Let's see if that may do something here. That could get MJ going again if this starts to break trend lines. Let's see what this looks like on the weekly chart. I'm going to just remove everything. I have tons of stuff on here. Tons of stuff. $54 deep cup with handle. Yeah, maybe trying to get with the program right there. Your technical buy point going up 20% would be 63. And that's not bad going out to July, which I don't think that's unrealistic for some of these MJ stocks. Yes, tons of stuff. Exactly. That's my engineering background, Eli. Tons of stuff, lots of things. These are things you can only learn at high-end schools, okay? You're lucky I'm sharing them with you. I could just keep all my highfalutin stuff to myself, but my mom didn't pay $500,000 to get me into the local community college for nothing. She worked hard for that money. Don't expect her just to, give stuff away like that. It's not fair to her. All right, I think I'm picking up some CGC here. I think I'm talking myself into this trade. It puts me pretty heavy MJ marijuana though. I don't like being that heavy. I'm going to click some buttons here. Okay, CGC July. All right, just bought some CGC on this breakout. We'll see what happens if it breaks out. I'm way early on this. I don't think I'm a super big fan of my my recent strategy. I've kind of been churning. So then I'm going back to my leading stocks, longer perspective trading. The trading of old Eli, if you will. That worked out very well. It featured, yeah, I think what I figured out, and I just haven't done a lot of work to mitigate this, is a very, very strict set of rules around entries, because that style of trading with options, I'm taking a lot of 30 to 60% profits, but my losses are about that as well. So I'm just basically churning, which is not happy. Well, remember, I don't know if you remember my YY strategy and stuff like that. Heck's going on here? Hold on a second. So my old strategy of buying longer term that had, really, really good um, profit percentage. What's up, Jake? Really good profit percentage on kind of undervalued options, if you will, because things have been flat for a while and they were coming down or basing or something like that. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, with that with this new strategy, I'm lining up like potentially 3, 4, 5 trades a day, which is just too much. That other strategy, I'm looking for those bigger breakouts, lining up trades like 1 or 2 a month. So like Fortnite here would be one, but very nice base, cup and handle. Adjust the strategy to the market. Well, what hasn't worked about that strategy here? If I would have bought down here in Fortnite, so. Oh yeah, you're 20 seconds behind, so you're referring to the other one. Yeah. Well, I thought that's what I was doing. Um, I thought that's what I was doing, and it was okay. I mean, I did good on it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I had some good early success, so my churn makes me net higher, but I wasn't happy. Like I would get into something that was looking good, and then it would just fail and take me down too much. It would take me down too much. Like I got into, um, yeah, exactly. We're back in a bull bounce. I got into SIV or Skyworks here. I got into Skyworks a little bit late here, but not like super late. And I was in profit by the end of the day. And then the next day comes, I'm down like 40% in that option. You can't have that. I don't think that's really a viable long-term strategy overnight with like a 2% move to be down 40%. I don't think that's okay. So maybe it's just something where I've just bought a little late. I was trying to think about making a rule where I only had to enter on red days for the options. That would reduce a lot of the risk premium out of the equation. Still may do that. Still kind of mulling that over, but WFT down 2% here today. Kind of like this for a breakout with decent volume. It's doing I'll give that a little bit of room. But I think you get in these ones like CGC, which looks like it's trying to continue here. Well, that was the problem with that particular type of strategy. So I don't like to buy in high volatility. I guess sometimes I just end up doing it. No, I've had some good trades with some options, and some other ones not so good. Anyway, so I think I'm just going to roll back more to my older strategy of trying to hold for longer periods of time. I believe is what I'm saying. Chesapeake coming back nicely. That's good. Take Two Interactive, Fortnite. This thing looking really good. Well, Eli, throw some of your trades my way. Let's see what you got. Or at least what you're looking at. You got to show me any positions you have if you don't want to, but you doing your MACD strategy? I know last time you mentioned you were doing that. Gotcha. That's cool. Okay. So Acacia charts looking pretty good. Nice little day yesterday. I think we figured out that was a pocket pivot right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's a nice pocket pivot. That one was not, but that was a nice pocket pivot. Looks like it's going to continue out of this little mini base here. 1, 2, little 3-week pause. Hopefully it'll get to the right side here. Yeah, again with Tesla. Yeah, I'm just holding on to that MJ play like we discussed. I think we got that way too early. we got that way too early. Didn't expect a full blown bear market and then an immediate bounce back. But you know, oh okay. Look at it, Amazon. Yeah, I don't know about in terms of topping. I mean, I know there's a big psychological component to that $1 trillion um, to that $1 trillion market cap. It may go up there and sell off again. There's some psychology to that. Yeah, shut up, email notifications on my phone. Go away. That may be one of your better plays is try to sell it as it gets above like 1900 maybe. But yeah, I'm looking at it on Finviz over here. So 852 billion market cap. Yeah, darn it. But I think if you look at Amazon, I wonder if it's just forming a much bigger base. I mean, I think the fundamental story with Amazon hasn't 36%. So that's a perfectly valid base for a bear market. And so I don't even know if I would be looking to sell Amazon. I would still be looking to until there's something that does something about Amazon. This thing could still continue, to be honest with you. You see Jeff Bezos much richer. Definitely possible. Income of $10 billion. That's pretty good. Short float is 1%. Oh my goodness. For an $852 billion stock to have a short float of 1% is just amazing. And that's probably just people hedging. That's not even people trying to take a short on Amazon. 300. Look at these numbers on Amazon, man. I don't even know if I would be. Yeah, right there. EPS change this year 335. Next year 45. Next 5 years 43%. Past 5 years 102. I don't think there's any reason to think about selling this thing. Even if it gets up towards 2,000, you'll see this thing at 3,000. You'll be pissed. Just keep them. Unless you're going to buy a house or something. I mean, the numbers are just phenomenal on Amazon. It's quite amazing. It really is. It's just one of those fundamental plays. Like I told you, I think I've told you the story before. I met with a money manager that just by himself manages like I don't know $100+ million or something like that for like 40 families. And he's like, yeah, and this guy doesn't sell. That's like this guy's thing. He never sells a stock really. And he said, what's the next stock you can own for the next 20 years? And I wasn't trying to play smart, so I just said I'm not sure. And he goes, Amazon. I said, you can hold Amazon. He's like, they're in everything. They're changing the economy. Just hold them. So I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna give you that advice too. I will just hold it. Like unless you need the money for really need the money for something personal, or Amazon starts taking a big crap, just hold it. Yeah, I think it's gonna break out. I think it's gonna have a much larger breakout. We'll see 2250, 2500. It may not be this year. It could be next year or 2021, but I would view that with a longer term perspective. Anywho, my 2 cents right there, buddy. All right, CGC looks like it's trying to break out of that triangle. Boom, right there. Let's see if it'll sell off. But look at that volume that just stepped in. right there. Tons of volume stepping on that 5-minute chart. That's why I've got this chart up here, is to try to get a beat on if something big is happening right now. We just kind of caught one with CGC. Hopefully it can continue higher. That would be great. Mark it up a little bit. Yeah. No, you are correct, Eli, but I will say I don't know if fear is a good way to manage a portfolio. Like I said, my opinion is unless it breaks something technically, just let it ride. Poking its head out here, stalling as it hits that same trend line on the 5-minute. We'll see how it goes. Buffett says it's what? Anyway, that's my Amazon spiel, and it looks like they're trying to Tesla short squeeze. You know what? Let's see what their shorts. I just closed my FinViz. Let me reopen it. Let's see what their short see what their short ratio is these days. 20% still short ratio. I think they stepped back in. They were at 25%, I believe, for a while. It's quite a bit of distribution. I have a ton of trend lines on this stupid chart. Yes, clear my drawing set. Bye-bye, Tesla. So we'll say here on the weekly, it was looking, this is a little bit more ominous. I'd say right here where my cursor is. On the right side looks a little more ominous than the left side. We've been down here quite a few times. Still got down towards 260 yesterday. We noted that it bounced out of here and then kind of sold off. Here's the 50-day in the solid blue line. There's your 50-day moving average. So, yeah, getting towards 260, towards 250. May have to tell the wife to add to her position again. EPS next year, they're expecting 73%. That's the hard part with Tesla, though, is you just can't trust any of these numbers. It just kind of trades on clouds. Just kind of trades. Okay, earnings January 30 aftermarket. So, all right, so they don't report earnings for another 9 months. Come on, FinViz, get with it. But yeah, I would say that's probably the thing about Tesla that's a little weary here. See if we can find support down there towards 250. But look, increasing volume there too. I'd hit news, but there's always news on Tesla. Three 3.4% decline for Tilray over pot shortage. Yeah, they're gonna have. Oh, what was that stock that we added the other day? That little one that just like rallied 400% in the past 3 months or something like that. It's stuck in my global watch list up here somewhere. All right, Randy, look for the stock you don't recognize. Which one don't you recognize? You don't add too many. PCTY. Nope, that's got a nice cup with handle. That's a newer addition to the watch list, though. Regeneron. That's not it. Ah. I'm not gonna find it. It's too many names. Yeah, PCTY. Yeah, it's a little high. It's a really high handle, but yeah, I agree with you. It's pretty good. I mean, it's a beautiful cup. Look at the accumulation on the right side of this cup. Um, Pretty much high volume right there at the low, which is what you want to see. That's another good sign. If you look at the handle itself, there's a little bit of distribution to it, which you don't want. Ideally, this candle wouldn't be here. You want a much lower volume cup if you can get it. Some distribution to that component right there. So let's look at it on IBD. But yeah, you're dead on that. Cup and handle is pretty big, but it kind of had a failed breakout there. Down 39%, not too bad. 99 composite rating. Cloud-based service provider of payroll and human capital management software for medium-sized businesses. 44% EPS change last quarter. I'll pull it up here. There we go. 3/4 EPS growth rate is yellow at 33%. I'm not on board with that. 12% pre-tax margin. Yeah, that's a little thin, especially for a software company. No debt. Average volume is low. That means it's a thinly traded stock, so it could be more likely to have big swings, which is not a good thing. And change in funds owning stock and increasing fund ownership. That is interesting that that's zero, essentially. That's an interesting one. No news articles since February. That can either be a good or a bad thing. Relative strength at 95. So, yeah, doing good here. 99 and 95 for PCTY. So I'm not mad at that at all. We can do a week count on this one. So we got -1. That could be considered -2 as a stalling. We'll stick with -1 for now. I'll do that as +1 because of where it closed, so that's 0. And we're looking for elevated volume to really trigger a count. We're looking for elevated volume and kind of a peak close or support of some kind. -1. 0. +1. +2. So we're kind of +2 in this PCTY count on the weekly. You can do it's usually better done on the daily. I don't feel like counting that much though. So pretty good on PCTY. Your breakout technically right now would be 92.60. And so that could be a pretty good entry. We'll have to see on that. How that one goes. CGC pulling back right at that trend line. Look at that. Stalling a little bit here. Let's see if it gets going. Is that elevated volume on that sell candle? No, it wasn't elevated. We'll see if we can maintain these lows here. That would be pretty bullish. Like a nice close here up over like 48 would do the body good for CGC. Look at that volume stepping in though. Bet you on the daily we're close to yesterday's volume. We are really close to yesterday's volume. Right there. Yeah, 1 million shares away. So I think we'll hit that by default, and we'll probably end up with, ideally, a pocket pivot here. All we need is about double volume, and we're only 40 minutes into the trading session. And we have ourselves a pocket pivot, which would be a great day to try to get this on. So that could be an outlier and otherwise a flat to downish day for some of these names. Pretty good. All right, IQ WFT not doing so good. Give it some space. It's definitely a small position, tiny, $100 trade. You too, Eli. Take it easy, buddy. SIVB still doing okay. Probably may take it off the actionable list. I don't know. I should probably take EDU off my action. I should probably keep this list pretty clean. It's not like it's broken down though. But haven't done anything with Hack, although Hack Oh, Hack actually broke out a little bit there. There's a few pocket pivots. One right there. That's a good one. And then one right there. That's kind of a doji close. I'd like that one to be here, ideally. Looks like it's stalling towards that recent high. Also a good little cup and handle, but it's stalling on the breakout. So, but that's a good one too. There's a -1, -2, -3, -2, -1, -2, -3, -2, -1, and maybe 0. So basically flat on this one for Hack. What's the case you're doing up here? Still hold nice and tight in this little consolidation on the 5-minute. Hopefully it'll... I mean, the bullish case here is we just try to run right out of this pattern. Good pocket pivot over here. And that, looking at O'Reilly the other day, also still looking good. Yesterday was a, look at the sell volume yesterday, very low, so that's good. What I'm counting, so yeah, I don't really teach a lot of this stuff. So this is a day count. It's an IBD. Let's go back. I gave you I kind of told you a little bit of what I'm talking about here. So within a base, and there's arguably different ways to do this, but what you're looking for is healthy days versus unhealthy days, or in this case, weeks up here on the top left chart. It's just faster. If I were to do this, it would take me like a full 7 minutes, which I don't want to do in a live stream. I'm a little bit lazy sometimes. So, but you know, let's do it for not for brevity's sake. Let's do it for non-brevity's sake. I have paper. I know I have paper technology. Where's paper technology? All right, we'll use this paper technology. So I can do a day count. And this really only works in a base. It's I don't know if it only works in a base. You can probably do it anytime you want to. But so what you do is you're looking for higher volume, ideally over a moving average, over volume moving average. So on my chart here, I've got this yellow line. That would be my volume moving average. So ideally, you count everything over the volume moving average or higher volume candles. We did this in an IBD group with a gentleman, a very, very nice gentleman, very knowledgeable, and even he was kind of oscillating between, this could be, this couldn't be, this could be, this couldn't be. So there's no very hard line rules. I don't even know if you can Google day count or not. But anyway, so this should start with definitely a -1. Okay, zeros neutral, positives bullish, negatives bearish, right? That's what we're looking at here. CGC up to 4%. -1. And you go to the next day, it's higher volume than the previous day and a down day. You could consider that -2, although it wasn't necessarily egregiously lower. This one with lower volume, still over average though, you could consider that -3. The next day, peak close on that bar. Hopefully you guys can see that. Closes towards the high. Definitely lower than the previous three bars. You could give that, you could not weigh that. That could be just flat, or you could give that to the bulls. I really wouldn't care either way. Like I said, I don't have a definitive set of rules for this. So let's just do this. Let's just go with if it's over average and a peak close, we'll count it. Okay, let's develop those rules up front. So this would be a +1. So this would be -2 now. Next one is not a peak close, so we'll pass on that one. That one is not a peak close, and we're not going to count that one. That is maybe a peak close. It's just a tiny candle. We won't count that one. That is below average, so all these are below average, and we're going to go to this one, which is definitely a -1. So we're at -3. And the next one also, not really a peak close, but we've definitely overcome the previous day's volume. So we'll consider that a -4. Look at that, 4.62, 4.71 on CGC now. Very good. All these are below average. Go to high volume, -5. So we're doing a day count here. That one's close to volume. Peak close, we'll count that as a +1. So now at -4. And this is just an exercise to see if you can see if there's more bulls, more bears, if it's flat, you know what I'm saying. This one also pretty close. We're going to count that as a positive day. I'd say that's a good day. So we're -3. All these are under average, although we do have elevated volume here, which closed higher, so that's not going to count. We have elevated volume here, and we'll count that one. So that's -2. And this is elevated volume, not a peak close, not over, so we won't count that. Won't count that. That's definitely a -1, so we're at -3. And we're going to go here. Not a peak, not a peak. That's a good day, so that's a +1, so we're now at -2 again. And so we're getting towards the bottom of the basin. We're still at -2, which is not bad. We were at -5 at one point. That's pretty good. So that means they're picking at this thing as it goes lower. That's good. But we're still at -2. And so we have lower, lower. This one we have kind of a doji day that doesn't go in either direction. That's a positive day, but very low volume. Doesn't count. There's negative, so we have -3. And the bottom of the base here is a neutral day. This is all lower volume, although we have a peak high volume right there. So this is higher volume relative to these three, so that is definitely increased volume, so we'll count that one as that's a +1, so we're at -2. Like I said, this method takes a lot longer on the daily chart. These days are kind of floundering about. They don't count. This day, elevated volume, over average, peak close. We're at -3 now. And all these are, albeit within trend, within trend, within trend, outside of trend, -4 is our total count now. And this is as we get towards the bottom. That is -5. All right, now hopefully we get to see some positive stuff. Not there. This is all within trend of the volume. I'm looking at the volume here, not the price. Now that one spikes up, but the candle sucks, so we're not going to count that one. And this one, not a peak close, so I can't count it. That one, I can count. Peak close, elevated volume. It's not average, but it's definitely a little bit elevated, so we're going to go with a -4 on that one. And all these are within trend. That one's a little bit positive. -3. That one's a peak close. Almost could count that as a +1. Is high as that closed on that red candle, but we're not gonna. Actually, we could because it's above average. It's a bit tricky on that one. I'll count it. Why not? Next day, lower volume, lower volume, lower volume, lower volume, lower volume, lower volume. Higher volume. What do we got here? Peak close. That'll be a +1, and it's average volume, so it's hitting a bunch of triggers. We're at -1 right now, so the next candle here will take us to neutral, so now we're at 0 for the first time. In the middle of this cup, that's really where the bulls start to kind of come back. They've been picking at it, but in terms of our day count here. So next day, there's a pretty small candle. That's neutral. I'm not going to give that. That is definitely, that's like double average volume. It did close higher. Bit of selling, but I got to give it to the bulls. Going to make that a +1. Now, lower volume all these days are lower volume. Now you get to this candle. That's a +1. So now we're at 2. And we have that high selling candle right there. Not a lot of volume, though. It is above average. It is a peak close, so I got to give that to the bears. That's just a 1. And this one Definitely didn't close towards the peak, so I'm going to leave that neutral, even though it's massively high volume. Lower volume. That one's elevated volume, peak close. That's going to go back to the bulls, so that's a 2. And stuff and things. That definitely is a sell candle. But, yeah. See, this closed right at 50%. This is down here at like 25. I got to give that to the bears. So now we're at 1 again. So you can see we're not super bullish on the day count on this thing. That's elevated volume. That's got to go to the bears. Now we're at 0 again. And then we have a reversal day here on lower volume. That's a higher volume day. Not a peak close, but pretty good. I got to give that to the bulls. So that's a 1. And we have this day and wow, can't give that to the bulls. That closed way lower. Can't give that to the bulls either. I guess it's above average volume, so I can. So let's give that a 2. And we're back to basically flat. So we did all that work and we're at a +2. +2 for a day count on PCTY. So that's not bad. I mean, you usually don't end up at like a +8. Usually doesn't happen that way. I have seen +4s and 5s. But I don't do this all the time. I can't say this is something I do on a regular basis, but it is a strategy that I do try to employ every once in a while. It's just an exercise that you can do. And CGC looks like it pulled back a little bit. Oh, not really. I guess it's just above the trend line there. Already above yesterday's volume. So now we're just looking for that pocket pivot. It looks in the bag right now. That pocket pivot looks like a certainty. Should be flat on my position based on that action. Yep. +5%. That's flat. Pretty good. Nvidia down here. That's looking pretty good. Market still flat, but definitely not selling off. That's a positive. Let's go to the top here. CGC now matches our top. And we've got Chesapeake Energy at 3%. That was good. I guess I could have not sold that one. That one worked out pretty good, but a pretty big. I sold this yesterday, and I took a good profit out of it. I think I bought it down here, so that was a good little run. I was trying to get up to this trend line. Look at that selling bar, elevated volume, so I got out of that one. And coming back today is very, very good for Chesapeake. Acacia here, pretty flat still. I basically flattened Acacia down 3%. Yeah, you know what? It's not that it's, I don't know, Peter. It's just it can give you a lot of confidence in some circumstances. I guess that's the gist of it. So when you're trading, um, at least if you're looking for the IBD method, which is what I subscribe to, what the only thing you're looking for is institutional accumulation. Write that down. I'm writing it down. Institutional accumulation. Okay? And when you do that day count, it's just another thing that you can do to give yourself confidence or less confidence in a stock. All right? I've seen stocks with like -3 work out fine and stocks with +2 fail horribly. So there's nothing's really for certain. But as long as you have some kind of some tools you can use, that's just another tool that you can use to kind of gauge where things are. So Skyworks killing me. Yeah, see, this was a position that did not work out well. Looked like it was going to. By the end of the day, it ended up faltering over here. Look at that huge volume right there. And I guess I'm just not diligent enough with my sell rule. So we'll see if it gets supported. It was supported once down here as of the break where it broke out here. We'll see if it'll find the support down there at 82. CGC up 5% now. Making new highs again. Definitely getting on with the program. Rocking over that early entry point. Definitely looking like it's going to be a pocket pivot day. All right, guys, I think I'm going to call it right there. We're pretty neutral today. The Fed minutes will end up doing something for us. I don't know what. I'm not quite sure when that's coming out. We're just going to have to wait for the sky to fall in order to know that. I'm not sure. I don't know when the Fed minutes are coming out. So, but I'm going to get out of here, guys. Market's doing pretty good. CGC, hopefully you guys got on board with that. Hopefully it stays higher. But looking good so far. Tremendous volume right there. Very, very good volume. Hopefully that remains. We can have a beautiful volume day. It is breaking out of a triangle. You can't ask for much more than that. And also bouncing off that 50-day moving average. Look at that. Right there. Bam. So close to the 50. Getting some support. So, good stuff. All right, guys. Have a good week. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.